Hey everybody, Spaceman Spiff here. Welcome to audio commentary number 5. Today I have an orc versus orc for you, but as you saw, it's actually a random versus random. So at this time, or at this point in the game, neither of us knew which race the opponent was. That's a problem for me because as orc, I don't like to scout. I know that's terrible, I know that's ill-advised, I will never recommend that to you. You should probably scout, but I chose not to because I didn't want to sacrifice sending my peon away and not being able to do the build I wanted to as optimally as possible, which is also really not a good claim to make because I'm sure I make a lot of different build order mistakes here. That said, I'm doing the standard build. I have my altar going up, followed by a burrow and then a barracks. I don't want to do anything too dangerous because without knowing what my opponent is, it's not good to try and, you know, I can't go Tauren Chieftain first against an elf. It's just not going to work when he's going Demon Hunter. You know, now that I say it, maybe that's not entirely true, but either way, you know what I'm trying to say. I didn't want to go for something extreme because I didn't know what my opponent was. I didn't want to go Blade Master because Blade Master is what everyone sees, it's what everyone knows, it's what everyone's good against, and it's what the pros do, right? It's not what I'm trying to showcase in my podcast. I'm sorry, not a podcast, in my commentary. So I didn't go Blade Master. That leaves me with Tauren Chieftain, who I do like to go first sometimes, but is very, very weak early on, and blindly against an opponent on a map like Turtle Rock, where we could have some very close spawns. There's a lot of action early on. The Tauren Chieftain is just a questionable choice, or a dangerous choice. I could go Shadow Hunter, and I do like to go Shadow Hunter quite a bit first, but this game I chose against that because, again, I didn't know what race I was against. So I went Farseer. The Farseer is a safe bet, and in a few ways, maybe justifies my not scouting, and I'm going to show why right here. So you'll see, immediately I summon 2 wolves, and because Turtle Rock is such a small map, I'm going to send 1 wolf to this expansion, send another wolf to this expansion, and run my hero towards the middle of the map. So now I still don't know what race my opponent is, but already I know he's not here. So I didn't scout, but if I were to turn right now, I really didn't waste a whole lot of time running to my opponent's base in order to harass, right? I more or less made pretty good, or I would have been able to make a direct line to him had he been here. He wasn't, so I pulled my wolf back and keep running. And this wolf goes in this direction, and my hero I run here. They make pretty good time. My wolf is a little bit faster, I believe, than the Farseer. So he comes down here, sees there's no one there, and I found the peon here. So despite the fact that I didn't scout and didn't know what race I was against, I took the Farseer, who's pretty reliable in most situations. More so than maybe the Shadow Hunter first, right? And I went on the aggressive, which meant it didn't matter which race I was against, the Farseer would be at their base quickly with a grunt. And that's what's happening here. Orc was probably the last race I wanted to see. I really like playing Farseer first against Night Elf. I think the Wolf versus Wisp micro is a lot of fun. I definitely like going Farseer against Human because Wolves are great early game, and then you can go into Chain Lightning middle or seconds, which is really good middle and late game. I am okay seeing undead. That's not the ideal situation, but I can deal with it. The nuke is so dangerous, right? And then the last option would be Orc, and Orc is just so hard to deal with, especially when you have Farseer. He's squishy against the Blade Master. I'm sorry, I didn't mean Orc is hard to deal with. I am an Orc, but I meant the Blade Master is hard to deal with the Farseer. The damage output is high. There's not a whole lot the Orcs can do against an Orc base early on. So I should... Oh, yes, so you can see I teched. I was going to go into Tier 2 harassing and then see what happened from there. But as soon as I saw he was Orc, so you'll see I'm a bit delayed, but I see he's Orc, and now my Town Hall has been canceled. So I'm no longer upgrading. I immediately build a War Mill and I'm going to throw down another barracks. I'll show that in a second. Because I'm against an orc, and I don't want to play the standard Grunt, Raider, Spirit Walker game against an orc who has a Blade Master. I'm just going to be... It's an uphill battle. It's not the game I like to play. I'm very, very uncomfortable with Ensnare. I'm not good at it. It's not what I wanted to play. So I didn't go for the late game or the mid game. I quickly canceled, and I'm going to go for an all-in strategy. So that includes harassment. If I'm going all in, I want to keep as much pressure on as possible for the entire game because I don't want to give him the freedom to take any advantage or let anything snowball. So I'm going to stay in his base. I think I managed... No, I'm just going to put some damage on a peon. And I'm lucky his Voodoo Lounge is out of range of his burrows for the most part. So I just start putting damage on here. It's going to force his hand or he's going to lose the Voodoo Lounge. And you can see his Blade Master came back. So exactly like we expected. He did go Blade Master first, and he's after my Farseer. So at this point, I figured I can put some damage on him. He's not at full health. If I can just get him down to red, he's going to have to run away to heal, and maybe I can try and sneak out the Voodoo Lounge. So that's what I'm thinking here. He does run north. He's going to have to heal. He does have it, I saw. But he's going to probably go and buy Boots of Speed and heal up. And while he's doing that, I'm definitely going to have enough time to take out the Voodoo Lounge. So this, I think, is a win for me. And then I wanted to try and continue. I came in. There's a couple peons here. I wanted to keep the pressure up. I think I probably should have gone and canceled the Voodoo Lounge again just to get under his skin and slow that down. Because a Blade Master without access to a Voodoo Lounge is so much less scary than a Blade Master with a Voodoo Lounge. If he doesn't have the healing salves or the potions of clarity, he's not so dangerous because he takes a lot of damage. And if he can't heal while invisible, there's just... the threat is significantly diminished. I'll leave it at that. So now I poke in again. I don't think there's a whole lot more I can do at this point. He's safe. He's got a grunt out. He's teching. And now his Blade Master is on me with Boots of Speed. So I decide to run. I leave my grunt and wolves behind, run them a separate way because I don't want them hunted down by the Beast Blade Master after I deal with him over here. And here I have a couple options, right? The Blade Master is going to kill my Farseer. He has Boots of Speed. Something has to be done. I can't outrun him. So my option is either run into the creeps and try and suicide. Hopefully he won't get the kill that way. I could run over here and try and get Boots of Speed. It's going to be a tight race, though. I think he'll probably beat me there. I could obviously just let the Blade Master kill me. That's not a good idea, though. And the last option is to teleport. Normally, a level 1 hero is not worth teleporting over, but because I'm going all in with this strategy and because I want to be able to push right now, I want to be able to keep the pressure on as much as possible, I don't want to wait for my Farseer to respawn. I decided to teleport. So here I go, and you'll see I'm going to heal up and push immediately. So now I have my 2 barracks. I am pumping out headhunters, and I have 1, 2, I believe 3 grunts. Yeah, 3 grunts. And this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go all in. I'm going to take 4 peons along with me. I'm going to build towers, and I'm going to try and tower this orc in a 1 versus 1, which I don't think you see much of at all. And something else I want to say, I play this strategy a lot, but normally when I do it, it's when I know I'm against an orc, right? And in that case, I do get a Farseer first. I still harass just like I did, but I don't get any grunts. I build immediately for 2 barracks and a war mill. And so when it comes time for this push, I don't have any grunts, and I would normally have probably 7, 8, 9 headhunters with me. It's a bit of a variant. Either way, I have a bigger army than he does at this point, and he's playing, keep in mind, completely standard orc. This is what every orc is going to do to you in a mirror match. Blade Master, Grunt, Tech to Tier 2 with Shadow Hunter, Raider, Spirit Walker, and eventually Kodo Beast. That's what every orc mirror is. That's what orc players are going to do, and that's what I very much believe he is doing to me at this point in the game. So doing that, I know he has nothing until his 2 Tier 2 buildings go up and have time for a unit to come out. So he's going to have a couple grunts, and here I have 3 grunts and 3 headhunters and 2 barracks worth of headhunters rallied along the way, along with 4 peons. So my army is going to be significantly bigger than his. His hero is going to be better than mine, though. His hero at this point, maybe not better than mine, but is able to chase mine around. I have to be very careful with my hero. So the worst case scenario with this strategy is when they scout you midway on the way to their base with the Blade Master, because they can put damage on headhunters, on peons, or on your hero. I think the most common target is your hero, and that's what he goes for. So I quickly summon 2 wolves, and you'll see I send the rest of my army, I heal this grunt, and I send the rest of my army to continue attacking. And I just run my Farseer away. Because I know my army is going to be so much larger than his at this point in the game, that if his hero is here and my hero is here, that's one fight. Over here, I will win, because I have a significant advantage. So I did manage to get here, buy Boots of Speed, so now I can run and buy time for forever. His army is so reliant on the Blade Master. He has 2 grunts. He has 2 grunts, and he started a war mill now because he saw my peons were coming, because he scouted me middle or on my way. But he has 2 grunts. He has a second hero probably on the way or out already. Not even. Okay. So this is again standard orc timing though. His hero is way over here, which makes up for all the damage output in his army. And I'm going to be able to just set up. I don't need to have my hero with me. So let's watch how it happens. I did build and have to cancel because I built within reach of a burrow. Always a mistake. And I do have terrible micro, so I did wall off my headhunter and lose 1 headhunter to 2 grunts. So bad. But still, I'm way ahead. He's taking a lot of damage. I have more rallied. And my Farseer is way over here, but my army is still strong without him. I can also summon wolves and send them in, which I'm going to do. It's also important, obviously, to build watchtowers out of range of burrows, but try and get them within range of barracks, because that's what's going to be building demolishers, and those are the #1 way an orc will be able to stop this push. So if you can siege the barracks, if you can have towers in position so that demolishers have to retreat upon spawning, if they're already being attacked by towers when they spawn, I feel like you're in a really good spot. So that's what I try to do here. I'm going to throw down 1 tower. Notice I'm not throwing down 4 immediately. I'm just slow, cautious, keep the damage output going. He's got a good base. He's got a standard base. But there's not a lot he can do. So his Blade Master shows up. My Farseer's not far behind. But he can't absorb the amount of damage dished out right here. Absolutely can't handle that. He comes to take 1 tower, and I'll cancel it and immediately build it again. He had to windwalk because he can't absorb. Make sure you keep your units outside of burrow reach, because that can definitely overwhelm you. If you overcommit, this is an easy hold. But I'm not. I'm going to just go and take out this burrow, because this one's annoying me. I don't want to go down here. He is building a tower, but I'm not too worried about it at this point. I do have 1 ahead and in position to attack it. And there's not a lot he could do there, right? That burrow went down easily. He's back here trying to heal with his 2 grunts and his Blade Master level 1, which is stronger than my hero, but he's under a lot of pressure. He's under a lot of pressure. He did hit tier 2. By this point, he would have had a bestiary up instead of a war mill. Even if he had a shadow hunter, right? There was nothing he could do. By pressuring him, keeping him down, not letting him get a resource advantage against me by harassing, not letting him see that I was doing 2 barracks, even though that's not always possible. But by keeping him back, by putting pressure on the Voodoo Lounge and making him build it again, by killing 1 peon down here in my harass, by wasting time while the Blade Master ran over here and then ran up or around chasing my Farseer, I was able to exploit his timings. And this is actually a very strong strategy. I play it all the time. I've gotten second in 2 separate tournaments on Azeroth, you know, like the BattleNet tournaments, playing this strategy. And again, you guys have seen, I'm not the strongest player. I've definitely beaten players significantly better than me. Partially because it catches them off guard, but also partially because it's really strong. The damage output of headhunters, especially if you do the build to get headhunters first, is just incredible. It's just incredible. So now I'm throwing up some more peons. I'm still tier 1. I'm still just calmly getting my resources, and I'm sieging him out. So there goes another grunt. I'm being patient. At this point, I'm pretty far ahead. So I went to get that burrow. He still has his level 1 Blade Master, but there's nothing happening for him, right? There is nothing he can do at this point. I overcommit my Farseer, and he does get the kill, but it doesn't matter. I'm down to just 4 Headhunters and my 2 Wolves, but I have all these towers, and he has been overrun. I don't know what else to say. The game is over. I know a lot of people question me when I talk about this strategy because really it doesn't seem like it should work, but I can't emphasize enough how strong it is. It takes some getting used to, especially like the first time you do it, you'll probably have a rough time dealing with the Blade Master, but once you get the idea and the movements down, I think this could absolutely be a viable strategy. People are going to give me a hard time for that, I'm sure, but that's the way it goes. So I'd still just have my 4 Headhunters. I start gathering some wood here because I don't need any more towers. He's not going to be able to come back from this. There's absolutely no way. He's trying to heal his level 2 Blade Master, but I just pull back. Eventually, my Farseer will respawn. He's almost here, level 2 as well. So that's nice, but completely irrelevant at this point. He's trying to repair. I don't know why he's still here. I'll just speed up the game, and game over. So I hope you enjoyed it. I want to apologize again. I've still posted nothing but wins. But I do want to say again, 2 things. I've been playing more and playing more intensely, so I think my game is going up slightly. So I've been on a winning streak, which is nice. Also, though, I still have my losses. Some of them I feel like, or most of my losses are really bad. You know, because I do something like Alchemist first, and then they show up with a Blade Master and a couple grunts, and I just get absolutely stomped. Or I go like Priestess of the Moon, Huntresses against a human who tower rushes me, and the game's over in 2 seconds, and it's... You know, I don't know if that's something you guys would be interested in watching, me trying these strategies and getting blown out of the water. I don't think I would want to see it. It's kind of painful for me. So I'm going to continue posting games. I will post a loss as soon as I get one that's not just embarrassingly bad. Maybe I'm overly critical when I lose, but that's the way it is. So I hope you enjoyed it. Questions, comments, criticisms are of course welcome. And have a great rest of your day.